This is the English 2.0 podcast. Communicate globally. Raise your level. Speak English naturally. All right, cut the music. This is the English 2.0 podcast. Thank you for joining me. Today's topic is really important, so I want to make sure we have enough time to get through it today. We're going to talk about the truth about English education. And so let's get on with it. We'll start again with our pronunciation point, and then we'll get to the main topic. So please stay tuned. All right, in today's pronunciation point, let's talk about the difference between honor and owner. Okay, so often these two words kind of get confused. They're very similar sounding, but actually a little bit different. So let's talk about the difference between those two words. Now, first, the meaning. When we talk about honor, that basically just means a very high level of respect. So, for example, often we say we want to honor our parents. So, for example, if they want you to go to a certain university or do a certain type of job, if you do that, you're kind of honoring your parents. That's one example. Or in golf, if you are a golfer, we often use the term honor to mean that if you had the best score at the previous hole, you earn the right to hit first on the next hole. That's also called honor. So let's talk about owner. Okay, owner is very simple. It just means you have possession of something. You bought something. If you, for example, you paid money to buy a new car, then you are the owner of the car. Very simple. You own the car. All right, so let's talk about the pronunciation difference then. Really, it's only the first part of the word. Actually, the last part is the same. It's the ER sound, Now, let's talk first about owner, okay? So we own the car, for example, and that's just a simple natural O sound. O, owner. And throw in the N, and we have owner. Owner. Good. Now let's talk about honor. Now, of course, if you look at the spelling, you're going to see the H there. And, of course, we should know by now not to trust our eyes. We trust our ears. So the H is a silent H. We don't pronounce honor. We don't say honor. We just say honor. Okay, so that's where it's a little bit confusing with owner because we don't have that strong H sound. In fact, there is no H sound. So the difference is we're going for the flat O sound. Honor. Honor. Okay? Very good. That's the difference. Basically the natural O sound versus the flat O sound. Okay, so let's practice one more time. Owner. Good. And honor. Good job. So I hope you can hear the difference and produce the difference. Let's make some example sentences. Oh, who is the owner of that blue car? Who is the owner of that blue car? Okay, great. Let's try honor. It would be my honor to attend your wedding. It would be my honor to attend your wedding. All right, just some example sentences with owner and honor. Please practice those. First hear the difference, then produce the difference. I know you can do it. Just practice. It just takes a little bit of practice each day. 5 minutes a day, you can do it. If you would like more practice with the flat O sound, please check out my free pronunciation course. You can check that out at alsensei.com/tips. So check it out and good luck. If you would like more natural sounding English pronunciation, please sign up for my free pronunciation course at alsensei.com/tips. All right, in today's main topic, we're going to talk about the truth about English education. So just a couple of notes before we get started. The first note is that, of course, I teach in Japan, so a lot of the topics or the themes will be from my experience here in Japan, but I think it will be applicable to many of you in your country, wherever you're watching this or listening to this. The other point is that I did record some comments in a different session earlier, so I will be editing in some of those clips as well, so you might see the scenery behind me change. And the reason I chose this topic is, well, for two reasons. The first is, recently I've been hearing a lot of nonsense from other teachers, well, here in Japan and online, and so I just wanted to clear these topics up in terms of being honest and being truthful. And the second reason is that, to be honest, I'm a little disappointed in that, I'm seeing a lot of the download numbers. I know you guys are at least downloading, hopefully watching, but I'm not hearing from a lot of you. So I'm just hoping to hear from more of you, hear your opinions, hear your thoughts. And to do a sensitive topic like this, hopefully will get you emotionally charged and perhaps a little bit angry. And I feel angry about this topic, and I think you will feel angry as well. And in fact, you might even get angry at me. So I'm going to take that risk in explaining the truth today. But I think after you hear what I have to say today, you may even direct your anger at others. All right, so today I want to talk about three topics. The first one is goals. The second topic is national character. And the third topic is proactivity. All right, so let's begin with the topic of goals. All right, and of course, all of these topics are related, but you'll see how they connect in just a moment. But the topic of goals basically means when you study something, anything, in this case, English, I think it's really important to define your own goals or your own reasons or purposes for learning. And again, there may not be any, huge goal like, oh, I dream of working in America someday, or I really want to become a translator or something like that. It could just be, personal fulfillment. That's okay, but at least recognize that yourself. Okay, just don't have this really unclear, mysterious purpose or reason, because that really means that someone else has decided that your goal for you, and that is not what we talk about here in the English 2.0 podcast. You take control of your own learning, and you decide the goal, the purpose, and why you are learning. Now, how this connects to your early English education in school, for example, in high school, and many of you have studied English in school, and in that sense, the goal was chosen for you by the government or your high school teachers or society in general. And in the case of Japan, the goal is automatically selected as the college entrance exam in most cases, or sometimes high school entrance exams. In any case, you are forced to study English and learn English for the purpose of fulfilling their goal, not yours. Okay, so this is one reason to be very upset. And so let's talk about test mentality. Basically, let's talk about your schooling and your education. And again, I'm speaking about Japan, but this I think probably will apply to most of you who studied English in school. Well, if you think about it, in school, you study, you learn new ideas, new concepts, and the teacher, in order to, measure your level of success or how much you learn the concepts, they have to test you. And that's just a regular way of life. There's no way to avoid that. And so you study, and then we take a test, and we get a score, we get a grade, and that's how we know if you picked up the concepts or not. Now, the problem is, what happens is, when the test becomes so important, we start to study and learn for the sole purpose, the only purpose is to pass or get a good score on the test. And especially in Japan, students spend hours and hours going to school, sometimes an additional school called cram school, which happens after school, into the evening, and because getting into university, or in some cases even high school, really heavily depends on this test score. And now how it comes back to English is, we start studying grammar heavily, and even learning these really obscure points that are never used in real life. So this is why it's so harmful to have this test, or to study for the tests. A couple of reasons. So first, you are, of course, studying for the test, which means you are doing a lot of input and not a lot of output. Okay, so what this means, you're building a lot of knowledge, which is okay, but we're never applying the knowledge, we're never using it in a meaningful way. And so, again, we're talking about, in this podcast, we talk about, being an effective communicator, and of course, speaking is the focus. And so, if you don't do a lot of output, your speaking will suffer until you start doing more and practice more. And so, that is one reason why it's so harmful to have this kind of test mentality. Because you keep just striving for input rather than focusing on at least an equal level of output. The other reason this is so harmful is because in your communication and your interactions with people as you get older, we start having this mindset of the correct answer, okay, and going for a correct answer. And a lot of times, well, actually all the time in communication, there's no correct answer. It's just, the only question is, does the listener or the other person understand you? And do you understand them? It's not a matter of being correct or incorrect in the real world. So, let me give you an example. A lot of times in my business classes, we talk about the topic of small talk. And small talk is basically just, light conversation with the purpose of building the relationship in business, or, with anyone. When you get to know someone, we're just, chatting about sports, we're chatting about weather, hobbies, very light things like that. And so many times students ask me, "Oh, Al, I don't know what questions to ask. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to continue the conversation." And, like they're looking for some structured speech or, pattern of how to conduct small talk. Well, there's no answer. There's no pattern. There's no, structure to small talk. And the reason is because it's different for everyone. When you meet someone new, or you meet a client, or you meet someone at a party, who knows what their background is? Who knows what they want to know from you? We don't know these things in advance. And so there's no correct answer. the answer comes from inside you. It comes from interest. What do you want to know about that person, okay, in the case of small talk? And that's where the questions come from. When you meet someone new in your own culture, I'm sure you have a lot of questions you want to ask. So what's the difference in English? It's the same thing. It's just a different language. So that's why this kind of test mentality is very harmful, because we try to, we think there's some correct question or correct answer to ask at some point in time. There's not. You ask what you want to ask. You express yourself how you want to express yourself. This is English 2.0. All right, the second topic we're going to talk about is the idea of this national character. All right, now, recently some students and, students of mine have brought up this idea about national character, which means, whatever country you're from, there are certain characteristics that you automatically have because you are from that country. It's just a normal thing. All right, now I want to just be very clear and honest about this. This idea is complete nonsense. All right, so we are all individuals. All right, you choose and you make your own decisions about your life. All right, so this idea of national character is a bunch of total garbage. All right, so in Japan here, one of the things that is mentioned often is this idea that people are very shy. All right, so let's talk about shy personality. Now, last year I wrote a blog article about, it was titled, "Why Aren't Japanese People Good at English?" And I mentioned one of the reasons as being because of shy personality. And which, when you're shy, you tend not to speak out so much. Recently I got a response, a comment on that post from a Japanese student or viewer, and they said basically that, regarding English pronunciation, people feel a bit shy to go for really natural English pronunciation because it's too cool, or it makes them feel embarrassed to sound like a native speaker, because they stand out from the crowd. They stand out from most other students. And I of course I do understand that. I do agree with that, but I think that's a bunch of nonsense. Okay, so that's a English 1.0 mentality. And so if you're watching this show, English 2.0, here's the point, okay? If you really, really want to succeed, if you really want to break out of the normal society, the normal crowd, these are the things you have to do. These are the things that separate you. You go for better pronunciation. It doesn't matter if you're shy or not. So if you believe in the idea of national character, that means every person of that country must have this characteristic. For example, in Japan, we often talk about shyness. This idea of shyness. Everybody's really shy, and it's just a matter of national character. It's just we're born in this society, so we have this characteristic. I mean, if you believe that, then I would advise you to stop watching this podcast, because then you have really no hope of overcoming that. All right, so I'm telling you, it's just a bunch of garbage. Now, to believe that every person in this country is shy, of course, is ridiculous. Not everybody is shy. There are lots of outgoing people, and so this idea of national character just doesn't make any sense. And so let's talk about shyness a little bit more. Shy is not personality. Okay, let me say that one more time. Shy is not a personality. You are not born with shyness. Okay, the only reason that people feel shy is because of your environment, because of your surrounding. You were not comfortable. You didn't feel safe expressing your true views or your true opinions. Maybe because of the people around you, maybe in your family, maybe in your class. People did not connect with you. Okay, that's why you felt shy. Okay, and I was very shy in school, and in fact, a little bit shy now. But I look back, it was because a lot of people just didn't understand me. I didn't have that kind of safe environment to share my ideas or my feelings. Okay, now in Japan, it's said that it's kind of a national personality, this shyness. And well, if you really think about that, that means that the whole country is making you feel unsafe to share your thoughts. Now, where does this come from? Well, I would say it comes from government. It comes from the system, the society that you live in. And so, again, it's shaped by the environment. So, in other words, basically, if you want to start to get over this kind of shy personality or shy behavior, shy feeling, you've got to change your environment. Okay, so I'll give you a clear action plan at the end, but basically that's the message for now, is you have to change your environment. So those are the first 2 points on the topic of the truth about your English education. Since this is getting a little bit longer than I expected, I'm going to save the third part for the next episode. So please check that out. And we're going to talk about proactivity, of course, what it means. And then also we're going to talk about learning in a classroom versus learning in the real world. And we're also going to talk about the difference between reacting and responding. And we're going to talk about how you can take more control of your English education. So please, hope you will tune in for that episode next time. So let's go to our English 2.0 quick tip. So in today's English 2.0 quick tip, we're going to take a look at a website called eslpod.com. And that is a shortened abbreviation for English as a Second Language Podcast, as you can see here in the title. And it is a podcast, which is audio downloads for English lessons. And this is a really good podcast for those of you who are really studying vocabulary and idioms and dialogues, natural conversations. So let's take a look at the website here and take a look at why I recommend it. And maybe some of you are already using it. It's pretty popular, a podcast, but let me tell you how I use it. If you scroll down, you can see the latest podcasts here. With different categories. Here we have business, we have daily life, English cafe, entertainment and travel, and so on. And I particularly like to use the ones that say English podcasts, and then here you see episode number 804, 803, and then English cafe I don't really use, I haven't used, so I can't really talk about that, but let's go into this one called Talking About Movies. And I'll click into it. You can see the page here. And basically you'll see the title and a little information about the length of the podcast. And then you'll see the dialogue here. And you've got two characters, Martin and Joanna. And they'll have a dialogue about movies, of course. And you'll see here in bold letters, you'll see vocabulary that are key to the topic of movies. And sometimes you'll see idioms and natural expressions. And so here at the end you see variety is the spice of life. And that's a good idiom from this dialogue. So, of course, you can see the dialogue here and practice yourself. Also, if you want to listen, you can just click here on the listen button. And it'll start up.
Welcome to English as a Second Language podcast, number 802. Talking about movies.
Okay, so that'll play. And if you want to download from this page, you can just right-click and save link as if you're using Firefox. That's what I use. If you're using Internet Explorer, it might be something else like Save Target As or something like that. And MP3 and ESL Pod 802, and then you can choose the name and everything, and folder. I won't save it today, but anyway, you can do that. I'm sure you can also download it through iTunes. But anyway, it's really good. Check it out. At least listen and read along, and then you can practice the dialogues yourself. Lots of other good resources here at eslpod.com. So please check that out. And there's so many episodes. They're already into 800, so you can keep scrolling down and looking at all the different types of titles they have and categories. And yeah, it's really good, and I use it every week. So take a look at that. That is eslpod.com. All right, I'm afraid we are out of time for today, but thank you for watching. I hope it has been beneficial to you. And I just hope that you will really challenge yourself, challenge the standard ways of thinking, and make some changes in your life and in your studies. Now again, if you're happy with where you are in your studies, then multiply those efforts, multiply those actions, and be even more productive. However, if you feel a bit dissatisfied or unhappy with your English studies, really think deeply, look inside, think about what's true and what's right, and really challenge yourself to find those higher levels of success and how to get there. You can do it, and I want to help you do that if you are feeling that way. So if you have any questions, please feel free to send them to me, ask@alsensei.com, and please follow me on Twitter @alsensei. And I've started a new YouTube channel, so if you would like, please follow me there, youtube.com/user/speaknaturaleneglish. And we've just started uploading some video courses on that we call the Global English Course, and that is designed to help anyone learn the basics and the most common expressions to help communicate internationally with anyone from around the world. So please check that out on YouTube, and we hope to see you there. And until next time, remember, we'll go into part 2 next time, so please don't miss that one, and I will see you next time.